This is Elizabeth Davis, and what I am about to tell you will change how you see California forever. Before we begin, I need you to do something critical. Subscribe to this channel right now. Hit that like button. Leave a comment with your thoughts. Share this video with everyone you know. This is the only official channel. Many people are copying my content, my face, my style, but this is the original source. You are watching Elizabeth Davis. Now let me tell you about Andrew. He pulls into his regular gas station in California in his Toyota RAV4, the same place he has filled up for 20 years. But today, there is yellow tape across the pumps. A handwritten sign reads, "Permanently closed, sorry." Do you know why? Because the owner would be fined $5,000 per day if he stayed open. And the worst part is this is not a fictional story I'm telling you. He drives 11 miles to the next station. Same thing, closed. The one after that also shut down. Welcome to California's gas station apocalypse, and it starts in 17 days. On January 1st, 2026, hundreds of independent gas stations across California will be forced to shut down permanently. Not because they are unprofitable, not because there is no demand, because they are about to be red tagged and fined $5,000 per day if they stay open. 473 gas stations are operating on borrowed time right now, 17 days left. The owners knew this was coming. They tried to comply. They filed the paperwork, they applied for loans, they hired contractors, but they got left stranded. Here is what happened. Back in 2014, a law passed requiring all underground storage tanks to be upgraded from single-walled to double-walled by December 31st, 2025. Single-walled tanks are more likely to leak. They corrode and crack during earthquakes. When they fail, gasoline seeps into the soil and contaminates groundwater. So 11 years to upgrade seems reasonable, right? Except upgrading a gas station is not like replacing your water heater. The cost to remove old tanks, install new double-walled tanks, and bring everything up to code runs around $2 million per station. For many small independent gas stations, that is more than the business is worth. So California created a loan program called RUST, which stands for Replacing, Removing, and Upgrading Underground Storage Tanks. The program offers loans and grants to help small businesses cover up to 100% of upgrade costs. Station owners started applying. They needed that money to survive. And then they waited and they waited and they waited. In some cases, it took up to 2 years just to get a decision on whether their loan application was approved or denied. Not 2 years to get the money, 2 years just to find out if they qualified. One station owner in Alameda applied in 2023. By November 2025, he still had not heard back. He had to shut down. He had run that station for 41 years. He served his community. He filed his application exactly as required. The bureaucracy just ground along at its own pace as his deadline approached. And if you think this only affects a few hundred stations, think again. Because this hits you, and not only you, but also Arizona and Nevada. These are not random locations scattered across California. Many of these stations are in communities where they are the only fuel source for miles. When fire season hits California, these stations keep first responders fueled. They serve farms, they supply school buses, medical facilities use them. And let us talk about who this really hurts. These are not corporate-owned stations. Shell and Chevron are not worried about $2 million in upgrades. They will pay it and pass the cost to consumers. The stations closing are mom-and-pop operations, independent owners who have run the same station for decades. They are the ones offering the lowest prices in town. They are the ones keeping the big chains honest. When they disappear, what is left? Branded corporate stations charging whatever they want. When that station in your town closes, you do not just drive to the next one. The next one might be 30 miles away. When you finally get there, the price is higher because there is no competition anymore. They can charge whatever they want because drivers have no choice. Now, here is where this gets truly catastrophic. This is not happening in isolation. California just lost the Phillips 66 refinery in Los Angeles. 139,000 barrels per day of gasoline production gone. Valero's Benicia refinery shuts down in April 2026. Another 145,000 barrels per day lost. You are not just losing refining capacity, you are also losing distribution points. Gas stations are part of the supply chain. When they close, the remaining stations have to handle more volume. Their tanks run dry faster. Resupply becomes more urgent. Any disruption causes shortages. Remember the Martinez refinery fire in February 2025? That facility produces 156,000 barrels per day, about 10% of California's refining capacity. The fire shut it down for 2 months. Gas prices immediately spiked across the state. Neighboring Arizona and Nevada saw prices jump too because they depend on California refineries for fuel. That was one refinery having an unplanned outage. Now imagine what happens when two major refineries close permanently and hundreds of gas stations disappear at the same time. Arizona gets 33% of its gasoline from California. Nevada gets 88% from California. Reno gets 100% of its gas from California. When California's supply shrinks, these states get crushed too. Between these two closures, California is losing 17% of its refining capacity within 6 months. That is 284,000 barrels per day that has to be replaced through imports. And right in the middle of this supply crisis, hundreds of gas stations are being forced to shut down. And here is the national security angle that nobody's talking about. California has over 30 military bases, Air Force installations, Army posts, naval stations. They all need jet fuel, diesel, and gasoline. Guess where that fuel comes from? California refineries. Bases in Nevada and Arizona also depend on fuel refined in California. When refining capacity drops, military readiness drops. If India or South Korea cannot deliver imported fuel because of some geopolitical crisis, California's military installations face shortages. The Valero Benicia refinery is one of the major jet fuel suppliers to Northern California military installations. When it closes in April, where does that jet fuel come from? Now let us add Shell to this disaster. Shell announced they are closing over 1,000 gas stations nationwide through 2025. As one of California's major fuel retailers, these closures will definitely impact the state. Shell is shifting its focus to electric vehicle charging stations. They plan to install 70,000 electric vehicle charging stations by the end of 2025. That sounds great for the future, but here is the problem. Electric vehicles are still a small part of California's total vehicle fleet. The overwhelming majority of California's 32 million cars on the road run on gasoline. Those drivers still need to fill up their tanks, and the infrastructure to deliver that gasoline is being dismantled before the electric charging network is ready to replace it. You cannot charge your 20-year-old Toyota at an electric vehicle charging station, and you cannot afford a new electric car when you are already paying twice what Texas pays for gasoline. California uses a special gasoline blend called carbob that only a handful of refineries worldwide can produce. You cannot just buy regular gasoline from Texas and ship it to California. It does not meet environmental standards. The fuel has to come from California refineries or from specialized facilities in South Korea, India, or Singapore. So when local refining capacity drops, California has to import more carbob by ocean tanker. That takes weeks. The tankers have to travel across the Pacific Ocean. They have to wait for port space. They have to unload. The gasoline has to get distributed to stations. Any delay in this chain causes immediate shortages. The Jones Act makes this worse. This federal law requires that any ship moving cargo between U.S. ports must be American-built, American-owned, and American-crewed. There are only 55 petroleum tankers in the entire country that meet these requirements. So even moving gasoline from a Gulf Coast refinery to California by ship costs a fortune. California is a fuel island. No pipelines connected to refineries in Texas or Louisiana. Everything comes in by tanker. And now with refineries closing and gas stations shutting down, that island is getting smaller. Let us look at the numbers. California currently has about 62 million barrels per day of refining capacity. The state uses about 72 million barrels per day. So California already imports the difference. With the Phillips 66 and Valero closures, refining capacity drops to 34 million barrels per day. That means California needs to import 384,000 barrels per day or 140 million barrels per year. Where does that come from? Asian exporters. South Korea sent 195,000 barrels per day to California in May 2025. India sent 39,000 barrels per day. These countries have to manufacture carbob specifically for California. They have to ship it across the Pacific. Any global disruption, any conflict, any trade issue cuts that supply. Some of these stations are critical infrastructure. They provide fuel for agricultural equipment during harvest season. Ranchers depend on them, truckers use them, emergency services rely on them. These stations keep first responders fueled in times of crisis. Take a look at what happens in a rural community when their only gas station closes. Families have to drive 40 or 50 miles round trip just to fill up. That is an extra hour added to every trip. Parents trying to get kids to school, workers commuting to jobs, elderly residents needing to get to medical appointments. That extra drive adds up fast. And here's the economic damage beyond just fuel access. These stations employ local people. They buy from local suppliers, they pay local taxes. When a station closes, that is 4 or 5 jobs gone from a small town. The convenience store inside closes too. The mechanic bay shuts down. It is not just a gas station. It is a community hub. Fewer stations means higher prices. Basic economics. When the station down the road closes, the one that stays open does not need to compete anymore. Subscribe to Elizabeth Davis right now. Comment below with your thoughts. Share this video, because in 17 days, this crisis becomes reality and nobody is ready.